It is just on 8 o'clock on the dot, Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, produced by Eswatini TV. I'm Sandy Ngwane. I'm with Nomaklabi Sangambulu. We're coming to you live from the Hospital Hill Studios in Babane. For our top stories at 8, let's dive straight into it and take a look. The Prime Minister has returned home from Turkey, where he represented His Majesty King Eswatini III in the inauguration of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs says plastic waste can also impact food value chains and lead to health implications. And the Ministry of Home Affairs has received equipment which includes computers and printers and other things from USAID and PACT, which will also assist in the improvement of service delivery. Hello again, and now for the news in detail. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has returned home from Turkey, where he represented His Majesty King Eswatini III in the inauguration of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The Prime Minister arrived in the country through the King Eswatini III International Airport.
On his arrival, His Excellency the Prime Minister of the Kingdom was welcomed by the Ministers Mancoba Khumalo, Moses Vilakazi, Mabulala Maseko and Lady Howard at the King Eswatini III International Airport. The Prime Minister was in Turkey representing His Majesty King Eswatini III at the inauguration of the Turkish president in an event that was held on Saturday. The Prime Minister then addressed the media.
President, heads of state, emavele ehlukene. Umsebenzi uhambe kahle kakhulu. Uthathe isikhathi esifishane kakhulu. Ngiyabona nje emva kwama-hour lamabili bese i-event bezivele seyiphelile. Ukhulumeka bandike mengameli ukuthi usalive lakhe, utaliphakamisa kutemnotho, nokuthi ke ngalowo busuku vele balomsebenzi wavele washo ukuthi utawube announce i-cabinet. Kwathi insambama vele lwabe seliphumile luhla le-cabinet lensha lekayibekile.
Whereas the Prime Minister in Turkey was in the company of the Minister for Foreign Affairs Thuli Dladla, who is currently in Zambia for the Commerce Summit of Head of States and Governments. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkal Suekoza with Simuva Shongwe, King Eswatini III International Airport.
The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini says now that the self-acclaimed Commander Tabognene of the Solidarity Forces has been arrested, he will help reveal terrorism sponsors.
Seita ukumele bade so singasho ukuthi cha usebenzekile la kulendlela ngangivele ngishito ukuthi nabemthetho vele bathi abalandzela babathole bayawugcina babathole ngamunye so baqhubeka naloko bathola simkonsisi bafana bembulo bayasebenza.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilakazi, says plastic waste can also impact the food value chains and lead to health implications. The Minister has been speaking during the commemoration of the World Environment Day.
Litiko letekuvakasha nemvelo, litiko letekulima, lihhovisi lakamhlaba kuleli, netinhlangothi letithinzekako ekugcineni nasekulondvolotweni kwetibi, bahlangene ekugubha lelanga ngaphansi kwesicubulo lesithi asilwe netibi temaplastiki. The Minister of Tourism, together with the Minister of Agriculture, United Nations, Eswatini, and waste value chain stakeholders, gathered at the Mavuso Trade Center to commemorate the day under the theme Beat Plastic Pollution. The Minister of Tourism, Moses Vilakazi, encouraged public-private collaboration to minimize plastic waste.
Not only are plastics ingestion a threat to numerous mammals, reptiles, birds, and fish, but microplastic has also begun to enter the human food supply system. The scourge of plastic pollution is a visible threat that impacts every community. It is time to change how we produce, how we consume, and dispose of the plastics that we use.
The Minister for Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, represented by the US, Gugu Shabangu, said plastic waste affects food security.
The low cost and vast range of available plastic products has changed agricultural production from a traditionally low waste activity to an industry with a significant waste problem. The manufacture and marketing of new plastic products has increased plastic use. This has helped farmers increase yields and reduce food waste, but it has outpaced the development of systems and processes to reuse, recycle, effectively biodegrade, and adequately dispose of many agricultural plastics.
The acting UN resident coordinator in Eswatini, Amina Mohammed, affirmed the UN's commitment in supporting the kingdom on issues of waste management, whereas the Ministry of Tourism reports that it takes 10 to 100 years for a plastic to decompose. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkal Swekwaza with Muslim Konta Manzini.
The Ministry of Home Affairs has received equipment which includes computers and printers and other things from USAID and PACT, which will assist in the improvement of service delivery. The equipment was received by the Minister of Home Affairs, Princess Lindiwe.
Inhlangano yaka-USAID ngokusebenzisana nebaka-PACT sabanikelela litiko letasekhaya ngemishini letawenta kusebenta kwaleli tiko kube melula njengoba lisebhekene nekunika sive titifiketi tichazabuve nalokunye. The USAID and PACT have donated equipment to the Ministry of Home Affairs, which will assist in service delivery. The donation includes computers, a laptop, and printers. Presenting the donation, Mzwethu Nkambule, who spoke on behalf of USAID, said the ministry works with documents. This equipment are a requirement.
We applaud the government's initiative to issue birth certificates at the maternity wards of major hospitals. Babies who can start life with a birth certificate even before they leave the hospital have a better chance in life to be safe, stable, schooled, and healthy. USAID is honored to support the birth registration in Mbabane Government Hospital and Raleigh Fit Kings Memorial Hospital by donating the office equipment that will make the task of the CRVS officers easier and enable them to capture the data.
The Minister, Princess Lindiwe, says this came at an opportune time when the ministry is rolling the mopping exercise. These are a requirement indeed, and they are therefore thankful and grateful.
Such a donation has therefore come at a very critical time, and government extends her sincere gratitude to PACT. As earlier mentioned, we have a mopping exercise, and therefore we have christened this exercise as closing of the tap, for you cannot keep mopping the floor whilst the faucet is not only leaking but is fully open.
The equipment is worth 214,000 Malangeni. Reporting, I am Kian Msibi with Smuva Shongwe, Babane.
The Ministry of Health says Maswati are ready waiting for the human papillomavirus vaccine HPV that will be taken by girls from the ages of 9 to 14 years. This is according to the National Cancer Control Program Manager Nkosile Dlamini. She says next Monday the program shall be launched, and the following day on Tuesday the Ministry of Health officers will kickstart the vaccination exercise in all schools across the country. Dlamini says parents should not be worried by the exercise as the HPV vaccine is safe and the vaccine will help in fight against cervical cancer.
We'll encourage everyone to bring their child, their girl child, 9 to 14 years for the vaccination so that they get protected. So in short, let me announce that this vaccination campaign will start next week on the 13th to 23rd of June, whilst on the 12th of June, it will be a launch. So everyone will be invited to come and see how best you can work on the campaign. Of course, fears were there to some, but as we give them the information, we could see some changes and people showing the interest on the vaccination because the human papillomavirus, it is safe and it does protect our people. It will protect our people from getting the human papillomavirus, which might lead to the cervical cancer. And the good part of it is that this vaccine has been vaccinated some different countries locally, South Africa, Malawi, the surrounding countries in Africa, and also were fortunate to have a study last year where our children were vaccinated and we didn't see any negative effect on it.
Ezulwini umphakathi Chief Umngani Makhosi Sifiso Khumalo says it is important to engage the youth in nature conservation programs. Khumalo said this when the umphakathi joined the world in commemorating the World Environment Day.
The event was held at what was once an illegally dumping ground around Zulwini. Speaking during the event, Umngani Makhosi Sifiso Khumalo says experts have advised that the Donga is now underneath the Mbabane Mazini Highway. He adds that children should be taught about nature conservation at a tender age. He says Zulwini has programs on filling Dongas and cleanup campaigns.
Every day of the month ngesigodzi ngokwehlukana kwayo clean tinehlelo sithi clean just to ensure ukuthi kuhlala kuklobile.
Lubamba constituency headman Abraham Bembe says after the Donga has been filled, a recreational facility will be built. He says more projects that will benefit residents will be implemented.
Sithathe sihlala phansi nama-stakeholders onke kufaka ikhathi libandla lomphakathi kube ngila khona kubuya labo works ngoba sinabo works la sinabo nabo brewery lamatiko lamakhulu kuhlale phansi stakeholder committee kwenziwe i-drawing lengasuyithabusha le place ukuthi ibe yintuthuko letawusita wonke umuntu lokho.
Eswatini Environment Authority Environmental Inspector Waste Management Officer Ntumiso Makakula says companies that sell plastics should introduce the deposit fine system, which has proven to work. He also encourages eMaswati to segregate their waste at their homesteads.
Sikuthathe naletinye tinkampani kukhona naluhlelo lwe-deposit refund system lesilibonile kuletinye tinkampani letikhona eSwatini.
Ezulwini Community Development Committee Deputy Chairperson Goodwill Mazia says hospital waste was dumped in this illegally dumping site. He commends the Ministry of Health as it always came to their rescue during such incidents. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla Ezulwini.
Relay Fitkin Memorial RFM Hospital Acting Chief Executive Officer Dr. Raymond Bichong says an internal investigation will be initiated following reports that a newborn allegedly died due to negligence from the medical officers. Dr. Bichong said this following a mother who went to the hospital to give birth was not attended for almost 16 hours.
On Sunday, Eswatini TV News reported a story of a mother who lost a newborn baby due to what she terms as negligence from the medical officers at RFM Hospital. The hospital acting Chief Executive Officer Dr. Raymond Bichong says an investigation to the matter will be initiated.
And if through that process is ascertained that there is a responsibility for our staff, then we have internal disciplinary process that will be put in place to take care of such. So, unfortunately, with the limited time that I was given for the information, I can just confirm at this stage that yes, from our head of Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology.
He continues to add that despite the negative reports, the hospital leads with the number of babies delivered per day in the country.
If we see the negative outcome that are being portrayed in the press, is not a fair representation of all the multitude of clients that successively deliver here at our facilities. You know, with such high number of delivery, we are bound to have incident there and there.
Dr. Bichong says in an effort to ensure good service delivery, the medical facility has a customer care office where all complaints are reported. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Mazini.
For now, we take a quick commercial break, but don't go away because when we come back, we get a sense of how markets fared today in a financial report.
We at Eswatini Television Authority are committed to observing the Eswatini Communication Commission's Broadcasting Code of Conduct.
Under the code, we are committed to broadcast news that is current, free from hate speech, accurate, balanced, and fair.
From politics to business, health, agriculture, courts, and global news, we bring you the latest updates as they happen, when they happen.
We cover all the sporting codes from the football pitch to the chessboards.
This is Eswatini TV News.
Welcome back. We get more news in the world of business as we take a look at how our markets fared today in a financial report. Welcome back. In the world of sports, the Eswatini Tourism Authority Chief Executive Officer Linda Nxumalo applauds the Eswatini Cycling Association for hosting cycling events that attract tourists or rather cyclists from abroad, which improves tourism in the country. Nxumalo was speaking during the recent Imvelo MTB Classic at Mlilwane.
The majority of first world countries boost their economies by hosting major sporting events that attract people from all walks of life. This past weekend during the Imvelo MTB Classic, cyclists from countries such as Mozambique, South Africa, Netherlands and England took part in the event, which boosts the tourism sector in the kingdom.
Misayona iNetbank ukuthi ibambe umcimbi lonjena lo mcimbi ke lona ukhona ku events calendar yethu Sing Tourism Eswatini siyathi ukuthi icycling kusukela ngekhathi tabo COVID ipick upile kakhulu sabona kungenela ema cycling clubs lamaningi sibonga nje iprivate sector ukuthi iwasekele le micimbi lena next week nje siyathi kusukhona lo munye so siyadibongela kakhulu lokho sifokotisa kakhulu Sing Tourism ukuthi kune divakashi lana letibuya bomakhelwane eNingizimu Afrika kunalaba buya boMozambique nalabanye ke labadibela kulamanye amave nalaba balakha eSwatini kakhulu lesikufokotela ngeke ukuthi much as kungiso sports tourism phinze futhi kube ukuthi kushukumisa umtimba bantu bahlala bangilabaphilile.
Next weekend, cyclists from outside the country are expected to be part of the border-to-border cycling event from Ngwenya to Lavumisa. Moving on with our sports roundup, the Under-19 Premier League, which started about 2 months ago, has challenges where some teams are still struggling to hire coaches and team doctors, according to Premier League football manager Pet Vilagati.
Lama team nanobuka la ngemva kwami njenyalo ede kumbe lamaningi awo ede baceceshi ede ne medical staff lekahle kanzi umdlalo webhola kumcuka ukuthi ube ne medical staff because labantwana kulesigaba lesikuso ema injuries kufuna anakekeleke ngaso sonke isikhathi kepha ke siyabonga namacembu la thethe lithuba lokuthi atinikele ngekuthi vele ameke sure ukuthi bakhona labatawunakekela labantwana medically noma bakhona la egroundini siye sibe nelethemba ngekuthi nangabe kumbe team A anaye labo laba qualified bangasibambisa noma kungendeka umonakalo ku team B asikukhuthati kona ukuthi licembu lite la lingalide labatalinakekela ikakhulu kade kuma injuries lesingaba nawo sibongane officiating ema match officials lesinawo la naningababuka nje la majala sijajela lo mdlalo majala amancane.
Royal Leopards are currently top of the log with 23 points after 9 games. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini. Mbabane.
With those sports news, we've hit the home stretch of the news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of news-making headlines tonight. The Prime Minister has returned home from Turkey, where he represented His Majesty King Eswatini III in the inauguration of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs says plastic waste can also impact food value chains and lead to health implications. And the Ministry of Home Affairs has received equipment which includes computers and printers and other things from USAID and PACT, which will also assist in the improvement of service delivery. Beautiful Kingdom of Eswatini, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for choosing to stay with us. That's where we leave it for tonight. We shall now cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the team here at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.